GOVX. I've had a lot of different jobs throughout the years. I've been an investigator, a supervising investigator. I'm currently a public information officer, but I would say customer service really is my field, and I work currently for Caltrans. So I work in the External Affairs division, and we essentially handle public interaction. You know, when somebody calls Caltrans with a question, a comment, a concern, wants to get information about a project, really anything that has to do with the freeway and highway system. It varies. Usually a lot of my day is the phones. We have a general phone number that people will call, which gets into a phone tree. And ultimately, if they want more information on something, then they get to External Affairs. And so somebody could be calling, again, with anything you could think of, you know, a light not working at the end of an off-ramp or just anything that relates to the roadways. So I'm taking those calls, getting information from them, figuring out, okay, do we need to submit a service request to get that fixed? You know, what do we need to do to help this person? Sometimes people are calling for different situations. I have something I'm working on helping someone out right now where they're trying to get the power essentially connected to their house. And because the power pole is done by SDG&E, but it's kind of on Caltrans right of way, there's permits, there's stuff involved there, and I'm trying to help facilitate that process to make sure that they can get, you know, power to their house as quickly as possible. At the end of the day, we're trying to just help the public get answers, help the public get resolution to the issue, whatever issue, comment, question, concern they're calling in about. So I started my career with the state as an investigator with the Contractor State License Board. They basically investigate cases against licensed and unlicensed contractors. From there, I went to the Department of Insurance, where I investigated complaints people filed against our licensees or unlicensed individuals selling any kind of insurance product, and I became a supervisor there. When I was, you know, I would check the, you know, CalCareers website every now and then just because I like to see what's out there. And I saw this position that, you know, required a lot of public interaction, and that's the part, as an investigator, you're talking and interacting with the public every day. When you become a supervisor, understandably, you do less of that. I missed the interaction with the public. I missed being able to talk to these people and help solve their problems. And so when I looked at this job as a public information officer with Caltrans, it ticked a lot of boxes of stuff that I was looking at. I was going to have a considerable amount of interaction with the public. And it really just seemed like something that I wanted to look more into, so I did, and interviewed for it. And then really during the interview, I was able to clarify a lot of information with the panel on what the job was, and it really showed that that's what I wanted to do. I want that. And it's not always easy interaction. Sometimes people are calling in because they're upset. They're mad about something. Maybe it's not even our fault. Maybe they're yelling at me because they're stuck on the freeway. And sometimes it is our fault and sometimes it's not. But when you can take somebody who is completely unhappy, furious at you for some reason, and you can figure out what they want and get them the answer that they're looking for, and then they thank you at the end of the conversation, that's what, at the end of the day, that's why I like doing what I do. The one thing that this job has helped me to do better at is be patient. You know, the first thing when someone starts yelling at you, the first thing you want to do is defend yourself or try that or deflect. There's just this human reaction to not want to be yelled at. And I have a 2-year, 8-month-old daughter. And I mean, she's just the absolute best thing in my entire life, and I love her to no end, but I've never been a patient person, and I've struggled with that my whole life, never been patient. But especially with this job and having my daughter, you have to learn to be patient. So with my current job, the biggest thing it's taught me, or helps me to reaffirm, is my ability to be patient with people. In addition, it's shown me how important it is to get people information. You know, people, at the end of the day, even if they're upset, they're calling for a reason. They're calling to get information. They're calling to get a question answered. And so if I can talk to them and give them that, they not only have a positive experience in general, they have a positive experience with Caltrans, they have a positive experience with a government agency, and we've all heard the jokes about government agencies and the government worker, and I get all that fine. You know, so I try to do all that so that at the end of the day, the people I've helped have a positive outlook kind of on their situation and on us and on just what the government does for them. And that's probably the biggest ways that it's shaped my life, just knowing how important information is and how valuable it is to be able to get it to people. Obviously, we're responsible for the freeways and the highways, and so when we had those rains, it was insane. And part of what my group did during that situation was we were receiving and funneling out considerable information to wherever it needed to go. For example, if there's flooding that's now being reported at this particular location, okay, what area is that in? Who's the maintenance supervisor there? Get a hold of them. We're getting considerable reports of flooding here. That way they can get a crew dispatch, they can get out, they can check drains, they can see where it's flooding, why it's flooding. You have to shut a roadway. I mean, the 15 was shut down, a section of it, for a considerable amount of time because it was, literally underwater. But you saw Caltrans workers out there in orange up to their waists, and they wear waders. You see them bend down into the water, so they're soaked through, trying as best they can. There's a drain that stuff gets, it's doing its job, but then something big that got washed down gets stuck in it. And these men and women are doing their darndest to get it unstuck, to make sure the communities don't flood, to make sure the roadways aren't flooding. And you see them out there. I think it was 4 of them in their orange in this chest deep water, doing all of that, and it's incredible. And so I went home at the end of the day just thinking about all of the people who were affected. There was considerable damage to a lot of communities. Houses, flooded, and driving home, thinking about that, knowing that I'm gonna go home, and thankfully my house, was dry, but there was all these people out there who weren't in that situation, and it weighs on you because, okay, what could we have done better? Could we have done anything better? Were we quick enough? Were we X, Y, Z? And I truly believe we did everything we could. I don't think we could have done anything more. I loved the camaraderie of that time where I could call anyone and tell them, hey, this is going on here. And the only response was, okay, we've got it, we'll get someone out there. Not, hey, we don't have enough resources, not we're slammed. It's no, we'll figure it out, we'll get someone out there to take a look. And we did, and so that to me is what Caltrans is. It's all these men and women working together, for the common goal of maintaining the roadway and all of that, but more than that, just working as a team, working as one entity to do a job that is, if you think of how many miles of roadway, to do a very difficult and very large scale job. And it's a great agency to be a part of. Regardless, just we are doing everything we can to keep the roadways working and to help people. I'm proud to be a part of the team, the family at Caltrans. So, outside of work, my main focus is my wife and daughter. I get to go home every day and I pick her up from daycare, and she runs to me and she says, "Daddy," and jumps up and wants me to pick her up. It's up, Daddy, up, Daddy. That, I don't care how bad of a day I've had. I don't care if it's a day where maybe I haven't been thanked very often. That interaction with her makes everything better. It fixes my world. So I love on the weekends to spend time with my wife and daughter. We like to do a lot of outdoor stuff when we can, because we just love spending time together as a family. I love going to baseball games, Padres. I had my hat on today, go Padres. So I love just going to a ballpark. You don't have to have the best seats in the world, just being there and watching the team with fellow fans, is something I really enjoy. So really on the weekends and the time I have, it's spending time with my family. That's the most important thing for me. So I have one of the things I love, there's a lot that I love about GOVX. I love the brands that are offered. It's all the stuff that I want to buy. It's Yeti, it's Oakley, it's Ray-Ban, it's Maui Jim, it's Kershaw. There's all kinds of amazing stuff, which I love. But not only is it, is the volume of what's available great. I love the fact that a lot of it is from companies where it's made in America. I mean, the knife I have right now, again, made in America, bought through GOVX. So and that's my EDC, the one I carry every day with me, and I love that. So thankfully at Caltrans, they provide us the gear we need to do the job there. I still have my EDC with me, but other than that, we're kind of covered there. But for all the other stuff that we need when we go camping or we do stuff, a lot of the gear is stuff, or even Disney tickets. I mean, discounts on all the different tickets that are there, and so, my wife and I both work, and but we're not as a government employee, you can imagine I'm not rich, so we have a budget and we operate within a budget, and we have a good life, but it's really helpful to want to get something, whether it's a ticket to something or a new piece of kit, and be able to go on to the GOVX site and go, okay, I can pay $300 for it here, or I can get it for $200 here. I mean, what a great option.